Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here with Rebecca. She so graciously agreed, or I shouldn't say agreed, wanted to come on and share her story of hope with all of you. Rebecca is, what, 27 weeks pregnant right now?
That's right.
At the age of 43. She's going to give birth when she's 44. You want to show us the little bump? How's the baby bump
Not so
feeling?
little.
It's not so
Yeah,
little.
not so
In
little.
27 weeks, not so little. Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it. Yay. Um, so I mean, we were just talking and there's lots of details we want to share about the case with all of you because I know you guys love to hear the details and to understand things. I think high level stuff that I think is great to know is you conceived during a timed intercourse cycle. So this was a
No,
natural.
it wasn't. It was natural, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't from the timed intercourse.
Wait, say that again. Explain that.
So we did do a timed intercourse cycle, but we didn't get
Right.
pregnant with that. It was
Right.
actually several months later.
Oh, it was several months later. Okay. Okay. See,
Yeah.
in my head, okay. So you did the timed intercourse cycle. Nothing happened. Then, okay. So let's back up. Let's share the whole story. So you have what is your daughter? 11 years old right now?
That's right.
Okay.
So I had my daughter 11 years ago. I got pregnant very easily. I think it was the second month of trying. It was, the month after our honeymoon. A couple of my friends had had sort of a little bit of challenges. So I was like, we have to start right away. We don't know how long this is going to take. And it took a month. So um, it was a very uneventful pregnancy, super easy, vaginal birth. Everything went really well. She was and is a handful. She was a terrible sleeper.
Sure.
She's so active. She never even sat in her high chair for feeding. I'd be like chasing her around trying to get her to eat. So we weren't looking to have another for a while. And then,
Okay.
she gets to kindergarten, gets a little easier as anyone who has a child knows. Once they get to school age, it's like, ooh, okay, they're there for
A
the
little break.
day.
Yeah.
Um, and we started discussing it. And I remember being on a Valentine's Day date with my husband in February of 2020. And we're like, okay, let's go for the second. And we all know what happened a month later.
Yeah. COVID. My God.
COVID. So this was not to me. I know some people it worked better for them. They were
Yeah.
home. They were like, let's do this. For me, it was the opposite. My husband only had 2 months off work. He works at the time, he was working at the New York Stock Exchange, and they were considered essential workers. So he
Right.
was going like into ground zero of COVID every single day, and it just
God.
wasn't on the table for us. Okay. So then July of 2021, I turned 40. And I was sort of like, okay, like if we're going to do this, we better start trying. And again, I was pretty confident. I had gotten pregnant very easily, had no complications. No one in my family has ever had any, real fertility issues.
Right.
My cousin didn't even start having her kids till she was 40. She had one at 40, her other at 42. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a breeze.
Right.
Well, a year goes by and nothing happens.
Nothing. And your cycles are regular. You're
The
male
cycles
and
are
timely.
regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I obviously started to worry at that point. And I thought there might be something wrong with me. Um, Maybe immune wise. I have had food sensitivities for a long time.
And like what kind of sensitivities? Or share them
Um,
with everyone. I
like,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
like heartburn reflux mostly, with like dairy, but the worst one, drinking wine, things like that. So alcohol and
Okay.
most like similar triggers to other people. Gluten a little, although not didn't seem quite as hard as the dairy. I also used to catch every cold that my daughter would
Yeah.
bring home. So I thought maybe there was some sort of issue with the immune system. And I was having abnormal pap smears
Right.
for many years. At this point, maybe it had been 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And then a month after my 40th birthday, I found out that I was basically one step away from having cervical cancer.
That's so scary.
It is. And it's like, I mean, I'm sure anyone who gets cancer probably says this, was like, how could it be me? But
Yeah.
I was super healthy. I've exercised my whole life. I've eaten, impeccably,
Mhm.
just led a really healthy lifestyle. But I think the stress of, having this challenging child, and then with COVID, the stress was keeping the body unable to fight this virus
Yeah,
off.
it keeps the HPV infection up. That's for
Yeah,
certain.
it
Yeah.
definitely was, I think, mostly stress induced.
Hmm.
So,
You worked with someone though to help with the, yeah,
yes.
tell that story about
But
this
because
dysplasia.
of the stage I was at, they told me I could not get pregnant right now. It would be dangerous because could very easily turn into cancer. So that was really so hard for me. Here I am now, 41, and they're saying you have to wait. And of course, they wanted me to cut part of my cervix out,
Yeah.
which didn't sound good just because I,
You
not
need
only
that.
because I
Yeah.
wanted to have this baby, but just like, to me, it never made sense for them just chop body parts out.
Yeah.
It's like such a strange idea. Like, I'm much more on the side of, let's look at the underlying issue. Let's treat what's causing the problem, as opposed to just, oh, we'll just cut a piece out and move on, because you haven't gotten rid of what caused it in the first place. So I
Right.
did a lot of research, and I found a naturopath who was only 20 minutes away, who does these.
Up near me in
Yeah,
Westport. Yeah.
yeah, I'm right in
I know
Stanford.
you're in Stanford. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
We're neighbors.
um so this was amazing. She was right there. And I had been dealing with this for so many years. She was able to treat it naturally and get rid of it in like 3 months.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What'd she do? So share with everyone because
Okay. So a lot of it was like, supplements to support your immune system. There's certain ones that are really sort of target the virus.
right.
And also, she does this topical treatment to your
Mhm.
cervix called escharotic treatment. And they use what's called the blood root. And this has been used actually for like skin cancer. It sort of just treats the surface of the skin and
Right.
kills off those layers where the abnormal cells are. So I don't remember how many treatments it took, but
Was that treatment painful or uncomfortable?
compared to natural childbirth,
Yeah.
it was like a pinprick.
Okay.
Maybe a little burning, but no,
Okay.
like almost nothing.
So then
Um,
you did that for 6 months and then you had to
but the
wait.
whole thing, right? The whole
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
getting the appointment, doing all that, took about 6 months. So now I am, like rounding the corner to 42, and I'm feeling so much pressure about that,
Mhm.
which I know is the wrong thing to do, but it's so natural.
Yes, it's really
Um,
natural. Well,
anyway,
also, like I always like to point out, it's like it's pressure, but it's also your timeline. Like at 40, you decided, and then you got like your time got hijacked by the
by this
HPV and the dysplasias, so it's
thing.
like the pressure is normal because someone told you had to wait. You know what I mean? The pause button was hit.
Exactly. It wasn't like I was not
Yeah,
in
it's against
control
your
of that.
will. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we're now in like March of 2023,
Yeah.
and I'm putting all this pressure on myself. But I do this research, and just as I wanted a natural approach in treating the HPV, I wanted a natural approach to increasing my fertility, and I found you. Um, and I got your book, and I just, I read it in a minute, and I started implementing all of the things that you suggested. Um, you
And
know,
what were some of the things that you were doing differently? Like I feel like, right, you're a pescatarian, so I think that's important to point
yes.
out too. And maybe not enough protein, right? That was a big shift for you. What else was a big shift?
Um, yeah, I think just, yeah, like streamlining the diet a little bit. I did try to increase. I started eating eggs, which I was not like a huge fan of. My cholesterol just gets really high.
Okay.
So I always had this like aversion to them. But I was like, well, it'll be like temporary. So I definitely added a whole bunch. just more, animal products, I guess,
Okay.
to my diet. Also, just did a lot more supplements to support my body. Um, and I started testing my hormones at home.
All right. You were using the Prove and
Yeah, I started off with Prove. I ended up switching later on to Anito.
yeah, that's what I thought. Anita. Okay.
Yeah, but I started out with Approve. I found castor oil packs
That's right.
with those, which were great. Um, and I found your stories of hope,
Which
and
is not one of them. You manifested this.
yes. Well, I would imagine this though. That's the
Yeah.
thing, it was a lot of that manifestation where I was just envisioning myself on the other side. And the
Yeah.
stories helped so much with that. Like, just some of your ladies, what they went through, it's just incredible. And I'm like, I, you know, if this person did it, like I certainly can do this. So
Totally.
the stories just really boosted my confidence. It made me feel like I wasn't alone in this.
Yeah.
I wasn't sharing with very many people that I was even on this journey. So just to have those stories and to feel like you almost had a relationship with these women who went through this
Yeah.
was super, super important. Yeah. Um, I gained a little weight.
Okay.
I'm just like a petite person and I love to exercise. So I do tend to just be on the lower end of the spectrum. But I was like, with my cycle, I was like, it started to get like a little lighter. I'm like, let
Yeah, it
me,
was lighter and you had spotting before, but yeah, we can get to that part. Yeah.
yeah. So I did maybe put on maybe 5 pounds or so.
Okay.
I also introduced like seed cycling and cycle syncing with my exercise. I started fertility yoga. So there was like just a
Okay.
lot of different things that I started to add in. Um, and I just really was committed to what you told me to do. And 9 months later, I did get pregnant,
Yeah. That was January of 24, right?
January of 2024. Yep. And I was 42 and a half. And I mean, obviously overjoyed. I was just jumping up and down. I felt like this nightmare was over.
Yeah, you did it.
All the work paid off, and here's my reward. And 5 days later, I miscarried.
Mhm. So sad.
It was, yeah, it was very difficult. At the same time, I was like glad it happened so soon.
Yeah.
I feel like if it had happened later, it would have been much more difficult. At the same time, I did grieve, I really did. And I allowed myself to because I didn't want to just dismiss it. Um, but there was this feeling like that was it. That was my last chance
Mm,
because I'm already 42 and a half and it took years to even get to this
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I don't, do I have more years? I don't know. Um, so that was really tough. But after a couple of weeks, I said to myself, you have a choice to make. You can get stuck on this
Mm,
and believe that that was it, that was your last shot, or you can double down, you
yeah.
can get more help, and you can see it as you got pregnant. I hadn't been pregnant in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like my body can still do this.
Yeah.
And so that's the route I took. And I got in touch with your team.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rebecca and I never worked one-on-one together. So she worked with Dr. Carey, who is one of our fertility coaches. And like I do with all the coaches, I oversee the cases. So I was, Carrie and I have our calls weekly, and I was in on Rebecca's case. But I think that's an important point is that you and I, never worked one-on-one together. She read the books and then she coached with the team. And yeah, so go ahead. So you met with Dr. Carey.
I met with Carrie. She was great. She really helped me to sort of consolidate my supplements because I
Yeah.
was,
Can we go through that too,
I
if you
was
don't
like
mind?
this type A person who was doing like every single possible thing I'd ever heard of,
Yes, she
including
was.
like 100 supplements. So she was like, okay, like let's like pare this down a little. And we met over, make sure that um, the dosages were right, things like
Hmm.
that. And she, even though I had been basically following the diet from the book, she did think my protein still wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
So,
And you had said something like, oh, my goal is 60 grams a day. And Carrie was like, we're going to make that 80. I
yeah,
thought that was a big one.
it was an
Um,
adjustment, and she encouraged me to do the bone broth, which I was resistant to at first because I haven't eaten meat since I was like 15.
right.
um, but I said to myself, look, it's temporary. And how bad do you really want this baby? You know what I mean? I was like,
Oh,
I really
yeah.
want this baby. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Um, so that was another way I was able to up the protein. I was doing the
Yeah.
collagen peptides, which were I found marine ones. So I had like the fish
Yep.
collagen peptides, so that worked. And she also recommended this antihistamine diet,
Yeah.
I think was really pivotal. Um,
And
so
tell everybody, like, what were the big things that you watched when you did antihistamine?
what did I cut out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was also a little resistant to this at first because I was like, I'm already restricting so much. I don't have the gluten, I
I
don't
know.
have the dairy. And now I had to take out fermented things.
Fermented foods. Yeah.
And when I looked at that list, I was like, oh my God, because even like strawberries and
I
like
know. And
spinach are on
spinach.
that list.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
what am I gonna eat? Because and all those non-dairy like yogurts and cheeses and things are all like fermented.
I
I
know.
was having kombucha like all the time, like as
Yeah.
when I thought I was doing something good for myself,
Mhm.
and it was like the complete opposite of what my body wanted. So I noticed right
But
away.
you were having to, I don't want to cut you off, but like your digestion wasn't great. Like she was having
No,
some urgency with her bowel movements. And then, like
yeah,
you said, the reflux.
yep, there were
Um,
definitely symptoms. So
yeah. And so I thought it was a good call from Carrie's perspective.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
totally was. I mean, it completely changed those things for me. And
Wow.
even now, as I'm pregnant with my
Yeah.
daughter, the reflux was so bad. Anything
Wow.
I put in my mouth, I had reflux. I have not had an issue at all. Maybe now that I'm getting bigger and there's like not
Yeah.
so much space, I'm having to like eat smaller portions and things like that. But I have not had any symptoms of reflux this whole pregnancy. So I'm like blown away by this and just so appreciative. Um,
Oh.
but just like it's just something so simple. I didn't
Yeah. And
know.
like here's a sample. I have one of your food diaries up. So it's like she had 1 cup of black tea with unsweetened oat milk, 1 scoop of marine collagen, some Brazil nuts. Then she had eggs, 2 eggs with the simple needs, gluten-free toast, and some sauteed spinach. Then another cup of tea, and then like spring mix lettuce, roasted sweet potatoes, olives, carrots, 3 to 4 ounces of salmon, hemp seeds, chickpeas, tahini dressing. Sounds amazing. Then you had a Jones's bar. I don't know which one that is, but I'm sure it was approved at the time. Sauteed Brussels sprouts and 3 bean salad for dinner. And she's literally eating 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 1, 4, 6:30. So she's eating like every 2-ish, 3 hours, getting in your protein. So that's just like a sample of what you were eating then too, which doesn't sound that right. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Mhm. It was good. And once I got into it and made those changes, it really wasn't as overwhelming as I thought it was going to be. It was just the staring at that list of things I couldn't eat, and
I
it's just like,
know.
oh God. But it was totally fine.
And then we also gave some daddy diet tips too, right, to your husband and
That's
some supplement recommendations for him as well, right?
Yeah, but he is super healthy as well, loves to exercise. We'll get into that a little bit more
Yeah.
later. But yeah, like eats pretty similar to me.
Yeah.
Um, so there weren't huge changes.
Yeah, and I'm like reading through Carrie's initial recommendations was like get up to 80 grams of protein a day with the 6 to 8 servings of veg, and we gave you some of our cheat sheets. Get in 5 eggs a week, which was a lot for her because she wasn't in the collagen, the cholesterol thing you were talking about. And add in a half of an avocado a day, bone broth, 4 ounces 5 times a week, the collagen peptides. We gave you the smoothie guide, and then yeah, some of the other the histamine food list we gave you. So
Yep.
yeah,
Also, you recommended some testing to do
Yeah,
based on my symptoms, just to see if there was some autoimmune thing going on. Plus, actually, after the miscarriage, we'll make sure that wasn't a factor
yeah,
in that. So I didn't do like the whole list of testing all at once. I started small to see if something popped up, and then I was going to kind of go from there. So initially, I got the C-reactive protein done, the
yeah.
ANA, the ovarian antibodies. I checked my day 21 progesterone, my DHA levels, and thyroid function, like more thyroid than they normally do, a little bit
Right.
more.
The complete panel is what we say. Yeah,
Yes, complete panel. And everything looked fine.
yeah.
So that was thrilling. I didn't feel like I needed to do like additional testing at that time.
Well,
Um,
you did have the MTHFR, right? You had one copy of MTHFR.
mm,
Do you know? I mean, in the follow-up, she writes, here's our MTHFR guide. So I was making an assumption that that was tested, but maybe that
was
was,
not, no,
that
it was
maybe we were just kind of getting ahead of ourselves in the sense
more
of,
like
yeah,
assuming, right?
yeah,
Assuming. And then I went on the herbs
that's
for
right.
my
So,
cycle because when I was younger, my cycle maybe it was probably too heavy. It used to last like a week. It was like quite heavy, a little bit of clotting. And then as I kept getting on in my years, it got much shorter, lighter, and brown at the beginning and end.
yeah,
So I started to think maybe my progesterone was low, and actually
it was, right.
it was a little low with the prove said it was low even when I did have my pregnancy and miscarriage. It was low during that implantation. So I went ahead and through prove actually was able to get on a progesterone supplement. Sort of like, why not?
Was it their Prove oil, that one that they make?
I did start using that, but then I ended up going
The
on the using the
actual,
suppository.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
The 200 milligrams. I remember seeing that.
correct. Yeah. Um,
And yeah, so then your cycle
so
starts to shift a little bit, right?
Yeah,
At
they
that
started to
point.
shift, and so I was on the herbs for several months. I was so optimistic I was going to get pregnant like right after the miscarriage. So several months go by and nothing happens, although
Right.
I'm seeing these really awesome positive changes in my body. So that is great. Um, but we decide we want to start with a fertility clinic just to make sure there's not something else going on. Maybe get, my husband at this point hadn't even had a full semen analysis.
Right. You had just done one that you could like mail in, right? You did like an at-home one, right?
Did the at-home one, and it was
Yeah.
like not great. It wasn't like in the terrible zone, but it was like just above, sort of like
Right.
maybe mediocre. So we wanted to do that as well. And you recommended Dr. Merhi,
Yes.
who is very close to me. So that was great. And after, at the end of our initial just appointment with him, he asked, he's like, "Oh, so how many do you want to have?"
I love that,
I
right?
know. And I'm like, yes, this is
Yeah.
this is the guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I knew from hearing from you and whatnot, and some of your stories or whatever that he was that way, but it was just so reassuring that he wasn't like, well, I don't know, you're 42 and we can't guarantee. He's like, how many more kids do you want?
Love that.
Yeah, so that was great. So we did all the basic testing, made sure my tubes were open. We tested the AMH, the
What
FSH.
was it? It was like a 0.8, wasn't it? If
That
I
was a
remember.
point
Yeah.
eight, just like normal, I guess, for
Yeah.
me. Not amazing or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it was fine,
right,
and
it
the
was
follicle
fine.
count was good, and your FS, like all her numbers were in range. So it also was this thing of like, why is she not getting pregnant? You know?
Yes, exactly. And for me, I almost feel bad saying it, like actually going to the clinic was a super positive experience. Like everything I kept getting back was showing me like you're good. And so
Yeah,
I think mentally this was huge. My antral follicle count was 17,
yeah, it was
which
high.
is like a 30-year-old.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, like this is looking good. Like, so it sort of erased this idea that there was something wrong with me.
Yes, yes,
Um, and so my husband did have the regular semen analysis, and again, it was okay, but there seemed to be like room for him to
yeah. Improve.
grow. So I bought him like some different underwear. That are
Good.
like
Yeah.
cooler or whatever. And
Yeah.
also they have these like ice packs
Mhm.
that they can like sit on because
Yep.
he does, work. He tries to stand, he does have a standing desk, but when he's sitting, I was like, oh, here, you just take your little ice pack to work,
That's right.
enjoy that. Um, and they did, recommend IVF to me,
Yeah.
telling me, you have diminished ovarian reserve, the whole thing, right? Your age, blah, blah, blah.
Who not RFC, someone else?
No, this
Or
was one of the doctors who works at RFC
hmm,
after we had all the testing done.
okay. Okay.
And I was sort of like,
I
huh.
disagree. And I'm assuming we disagreed with that. Yeah.
I followed up with Carrie and I'm like, please confirm. No, I didn't say that. I was like, so this is what they're recommending. And she's like, do you want to do that? She's like, this was the best. I'll never forget. You're young. Like, what are you rushing for? And
And
again,
you're like, wait, huh? I
and I'm
might have
like, but
Twilight Zone. Yeah.
it's fun. It was like bing. It was like another thing that my brain needed to hear.
Yeah.
That this is not you're not, too late.
Mm-hmm.
Everything looks good. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's great. This is my gut feeling was the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, I just feel like I didn't have enough information. Like that initial workup was not enough for me.
Yeah.
They didn't look at my, even with all the testing I did on my own through my naturopath with the ANA and everything,
Mhm.
like I still felt like I didn't have enough information.
Right.
Like my periods were lighter. What's my lining look like?
Yeah.
I want to invest not only financially, but also what my body will have to go through to do this process of IVF. If my body and my husband's sperm are not optimal, and I
That's right.
want to know that before.
Yeah.
So what we did instead was a timed intercourse cycle to kind of get some more information. And that was in August of 24.
Okay.
So that ended up not being successful. But to me, I wasn't upset because it showed again that my body was working. Like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to take any triggers. My body surged on its own. I ovulated. My lining was like a 15 or something.
Wow. Yeah.
Right,
So cool.
totally fine. My estrogen was a little low,
Okay.
but because it didn't affect my lining, like they were like that worried about it. Um, so after that, when everything looked okay on my end, I was like, let's do another semen analysis. It had been several months already,
Mm-hmm.
and I just was curious. And I know because I know it can shift very rapidly.
Yeah. Totally.
So he went ahead and did it again, and it was worse than the first time. His morphology was a zero,
Wow.
zero. And we were like, whoa, because he'd been on the supplements, he had been using the
Yeah.
icing, the different underwear. Like we had made some changes. So to
Yeah.
have it be worse was a little shocking. Plus, as I mentioned before, he's super healthy.
Yeah.
But his form of exercise is cycling.
Yeah. That's it.
And I had mentioned earlier in this process that's not so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to force him to give it up because
Yeah.
it's such a stress relief and it's obviously good for him, to be exercising. And this whole process can put so much strain on your relationship.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to have to go there. Um, but after this result, he took it upon himself and stopped the cycling, which it was, I mean,
Yeah.
amazing. It was
And
such
that's
I know it was such a
also,
sacrifice for him.
yeah.
But he was good about like, well, it's gonna be like a short
Yeah.
time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he started like running and like lifting more weights, and like that was probably really good for his testosterone.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
And he felt really good. Actually, his body felt like kind of different and like more together.
That's
So
great.
he
Yeah.
he kind of ended up enjoying that time period. Also because his numbers were where they were, they recommended he do ozone treatments.
Yeah, because at the time, Tumor, he was doing a study on,
Yeah,
I
he
think
was,
it's still actually running on
yes,
the
that he
semen analysis
qualified,
shift.
yep, he
Yeah.
qualified for that study.
Hmm.
So I was like, you go ahead and do this. So he got some of those treatments and it worked. We were pregnant within a few months.
Amazing.
Yep.
So
So
guys,
that,
that's the ozone sauna. It's called the HOCAT, HOCATT, and you sit inside this like
exactly. Yeah,
container.
it's like a sauna,
Mhm.
but for oxygen.
Yeah, and it's really good for reducing inflammation, improving
Yes.
circulation and blood flow. But Murphy has done this like pre and post with certain semen parameters, and like almost across the board, the parameters improve. I don't know if he did he ever do a post semen analysis?
We did. I'm not sure we ever got those results,
Hmm.
but even he noticed it.
Obviously, there's a baby in there,
Right.
so obviously that
And it
shifted.
was so funny because the nurses there, they're so great. They're
Yeah.
like, I come in and I'm pregnant. They're like, oh, it's another ozone baby.
Oh, I
So
love
it's
it.
really happening. You know what I mean? Like this is really working. And he could feel it. Like his post-exercise muscle soreness went away.
Yeah, that's
We sit
amazing.
in that sauna. So it's not like made up. Like it really is doing something physiologically. Yeah, so we found out we were pregnant in the middle of November
Oh,
of last year.
I love it. I love it. Um, and so I mean, I think there's lots of shifts of like, obviously we shifted supplements when you came to us. We got additional testing to rule out anything, tweaked the diet, went lower on the histamine, increased the protein, then did some tweaks for him. But I think that semen analysis was a big piece that was like,
It was
it was like your cycle shifted, you stopped with the spotting, we kind of nailed the progesterone thing.
yep,
So it was almost like you were good to go, and then finding out about him, which I think is such an important piece. And
it
then,
was, that was a
um,
big piece of the puzzle.
yeah, big piece of the puzzle. And then here we are. I love it.
Yay.
So I don't know. I know you had said in the beginning that you were watching these stories of hope, and now that you're here, I don't know. What do you want to share with all of them? At 43,
Um,
almost 44, pregnant naturally at home.
yep. I would say listen to Amy and her team. Even if you feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, do it. It
Mhm.
works. And also be patient. This isn't something that happens overnight.
Right.
And I know, like, when I started working with you guys, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get pregnant like in a minute. And no, it still took time. Your body needs
Yeah.
time to adjust and to improve. Um, and check your guy, not just one time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The sperm, it changes so rapidly. Like, keep checking, making sure that it's as optimal as you can get it, because that really was like the last little piece for us.
Yeah, and I think even the immune work you did with Dr. Lewis, right? That's who it was in the lead up for the HPV stuff, right? They'll probably really prepped and got your immune system ready and
Yeah,
improved cellular function. Like if we think about that too, we like got rid of atypia, and which that means, yeah, cellular turnover, healthier cells. And so that I think translates as
absolutely.
well
Yeah.
to,
So
prepping for fertility.
even though at the time it seemed like a waste,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm losing 6 months. Like, no, it actually absolutely contributed to a healthier system. And
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then the pregnancy has been pretty easy so far?
yeah, it has been, I had all the normal stuff in the beginning, but I was like welcoming it. I'm like, yes, I'm nauseous. This is amazing because it means it's working. It's everything is good.
Yeah,
Um, yep. And now it's just getting hard to wait.
I know, I know. 13 more weeks. Not bad. But being the heart of summer, that'll be nice.
Getting close.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And what a great story. And I think it's like it's just such a testament to like even though, yeah, in it feels long and hard, but like the slow, consistent shifts are what moves the needle. And that like also with that miscarriage, right? Where you kind of came back in and were like, okay, here are your choices, like talking to yourself,
Yeah,
like,
it's so mental. You can't, miss that piece
I don't know.
of believing, and that's what these stories are about.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
you can do this.
You can do this. You did it. You're living proof. And now all of you guys get to see that. And it's hope. I mean, that's it. That's why I do them too. It's just hope. And it's I think questioning the main stereotype or stigma that's out there, or the dogmas that say, you're too old, your eggs are all bad. It's like, no.
Yeah, I was definitely getting stuck in that. And
Mhm.
luckily, I had all these things that kept telling me that I was wrong. And I finally believed.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, I'm so excited for you. You have to keep us posted when baby gets here.
So,
And yeah, thank you so much again for coming on and sharing. It just means so much to the community.
thank you. I was just thrilled to be able to give back,
Mm.
hopefully help somebody out.
Oh my gosh. You'll help out a lot. You'll help out a lot. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.